You've hit play on the Screen Companion, where we'll help you pick something for movie night. We're going to do some music-heavy flicks, including Solo Sunny from 1980, This Is Spinal Tap from 1984, and Inside Llewyn Davis from 2013. Andrew, what is the plot of Inside Llewyn Davis?
A folk singer, Llewyn Davis, played by Oscar Isaac, who became a favorite of mine after this movie. There's a lot of stuff going on in his life in this one, but essentially he's just trying to be a musician and making money doing that. He's hustling and he's pissing everybody off along the way.
What aspect of Llewyn resonates with you the most?
The way they did the stage performances. I like when a movie about a musician has like the nice little musical interludes, so you can see not just them, but the other artists that competing against, so to speak. There was a part of me that liked his attitude toward the purity of his genre or art. There's that slight bit of pretentiousness always makes me gravitate towards the character, because I'm like, I see that, yes, because I can do that in my own way. He seemed like he really wanted to do music. Like, he knew he needed to feed himself, but I think he had the passion to make it.
Off of that, John, you and I, as we've never mentioned before on the show, went to an art school in San Francisco. That really is one of the drinking games of the podcast. Every time you or I mention it, somebody should take a drink.
We're not trying to promote alcoholism or anything.
But as Andrew was talking about Llewyn's snobbery, it made me think of that scene in the movie where he's at Neelix's house.
I was wondering who was going to call him Neelix first, because I thought I was going to get there.
Oh, I had to do it just to beat you to it, man.
I knew it.
Take the wind out of your sails.
Son of a bitch.
That scene, Llewyn, I think it's safe to say he was a bad party guest, and he just goes off when they want him to play his guitar for him at the dinner table, and he just snaps. Off of Andrew talking about Llewyn's snobbery and liking that aspect to characters, it made me think, is that symptom of being passionate about an art form that you're gonna be a bit of an elitist or nitpicky? We have been around a lot of different types of artists. Is that just part and parcel?
Depends on where the art comes from. Here, it definitely came from pain for Llewyn, and that's why I didn't want to do it. Whereas, like, our other friend of the show, Mitch, he is proud of his music and he wants to show it off. So I think it just depends on the artist.
Sure. Yeah, with Mitch, because he is, besides Andrew, when I'm thinking about people I know that are musicians and are very talented regarding music and playing instruments and just talking about it, Mitch, he has a lot of opinions, but compared to some other types, because I guess being a snob can manifest in different ways. There can be a positive version of it, which certain people have, where it comes out that they'll talk about whatever you want to talk about that's music related. Because I don't think I've ever heard Mitch or you, Andrew, shut anybody down because you weren't a fan of whatever band or artist they're talking about.
I won't shut someone down, but like, I'll share an opinion, and it might be a strong opinion. I won't tell someone like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about because you like this person. It's just more like, ugh, I don't really like them.
And John, which group do you think has bigger jerk-offs in your experience? Musicians or fine artists?
Oh, God. It's hard not to say fine artists, because of all the people I went to art school with, I didn't become friends with the fine artists.
I knew plenty of them. I would say I was friends with more fine artists than musicians. It's not based on any science. The fine artists I knew tended to be more hippy-dippy. I would imagine them doing a lot of psychedelics. And then the musicians I knew, in college at least, they felt more on the extremes. Like either they're really low key and cool, liking them to drugs, they're weed, or they're on the other end and really manic and really energetic, like maybe they do a lot of cocaine.
I feel like it's a confidence issue, too. It's because musicians are going out in front of people, and the fine artists are hiding in the back. And especially at that school, where if your track was fine art, the teacher was meaner to you than if it was anything else.
And it's crazy. They had so many art classes of different types, but nothing related to music. Am I right, John? At least when we were there?
Yeah, I don't recall any music-related anything.
Fine artists, maybe one of the reasons they tend to be so out there is because when you're doing a painting or a charcoal piece, you're spending hours just staring at the canvas, and you have to be really patient. And I have to imagine, Andrew, you must have written a few songs of your own?
Yes, very few, but I have.
What's the longest you spent writing one song?
I usually, like the whole kit and caboodle, maybe half an hour, if even that long. Like, it's not something that comes naturally to me. I've always considered myself more of a player than like a writer or composer. Inspiration has to strike, and when it does strike, it's like pretty immediate and I know exactly where I want to go. And so it just all comes together really quickly. And if I play it back to myself and I don't hate it, then I'm like, okay, this is worth keeping.
Do you ever think about the future at all?
The future? You mean like flying cars? Hotels on the moon? Tang?
And this is why you're fucked.
No, it's why you're fucked. You're just trying to blueprint a future. Move to the suburbs with Jim. Have kids.
That's bad.
If that's what music is for you, a way to get to that place, then yeah, it's a little careerist. And it's a little square. And it's a little sad.
I'm sad? You're the one who's not getting anywhere. You don't want to get anywhere. Me and Jim try.
I want to.
We try. You sleep on the couch.
It's a bad thing to throw in my face, man.
You don't want to go anywhere. And that's why all the same shit is going to keep happening to you because you want it to.
Is that why?
Yes, and also because you're an asshole who sleeps with other people's women. Let's not forget that.
Oh, well, you're being pretty kind to yourself now, aren't you?
Well, whose couch are you on tonight?
I told you, Al Cody's. You don't listen. You just spout vitriol.
This episode, I'm going to come off negative because this is very similar to the anime episodes I've done in that I'm stepping out of my comfort zone. Whereas if these were movies about more visual mediums, I probably would get into them more because that's more my background. Like listening to you earlier talk about the song interludes, I was watching this on my computer. I got a taste of what each song was, but I just pushed down on that fast forward button, man, because I couldn't really see a big connection between the song being played and where we were at in the narrative. But again, I'm not as sensitive to it as a musician might be, so I wonder, how would you describe those interludes? Do you think they serve a story purpose besides sounding cool or letting you know Oscar Isaac can sing?
I do think so. And this is only my second time watching this one. Definitely with the song that he opens the movie with. It's a bit of a bummer, but he's in for a rough time, and I can understand why you would be singing a song about being taken to the gallows, essentially. A lot of the musical interludes, the song is connected somehow to the narrative, but I also think one of the songs in particular, it was the one where Justin Timberlake and Carey Mulligan and that third guy were singing 500 Miles. That's just a classic folk song right there, and that's what a lot of the music was. The movie takes place in 61, I think, so this was just the trend. So I kind of viewed the songs as also very much a time capsule, and you see it in, of course, like the way the characters dress and the cars that drive by, but I felt like the movie really let the music be the telltale sign of the period more than a lot of other things.
Please, Mr. Kennedy, I don't want to go out of school.
When those song moments hit, John, did it make you happy or sad?
I have no strong feelings. I don't know if it made me sad.
I don't mean the music itself, like you as a listener to the music, but as far as a viewer of the film that it's in.
I think I agree with Andrew. I thought it worked well. You might be a curmudgeon.
Mm-hmm. They weren't even long numbers. That's the thing.
Oh, they felt so long. Maybe because of the genre. It's folk songs. I'm not really into folk.
He had that quote, something along the lines of, "It doesn't sound new, but it doesn't get old."
Yeah.
It was something like that. Yeah, it's folk music. A couple of them really reminded me like early Johnny Cash stuff. It feels like you need to get out more and listen to more music.
I've got very eclectic music tastes, at least for a layman.
As far as folk goes, that's like the good country.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm really not into country either.
I'm not into country, but I really like folk music. That song 500 Miles, I think there's something really pretty about it, and so that's why I like it a lot.
Isn't that song done by those Scottish twins? The Proclaimers?
Well, I think... I know Peter, Paul, and Mary did it.
I Would Walk 500 Miles?
No, it's not that one. It's an American classic, so a lot of people were playing it, but I think the most famous version might be Peter, Paul, and Mary's, which is cool that they did it kind of like that in the movie where it was two dudes and a lady.
Oh, well, see, I didn't even realize that was a pre-existing song.
I think a good chunk of them are. Fare Thee Well is probably an original, but the Hang Me song is not an original, and 500 Miles isn't an original. The Please Mr. Kennedy, that's got to be an original.
I like to direct these type of questions at you, John, because I think you have the most to lose, depending on who listens to your answer later. Do you think on the most basic level, would you consider this movie a musical?
No, absolutely not.
Don't sweat, buddy. She won't mind whatever your answer is.
She's not home. When I told her you didn't like Spinal Tap, she had some very choice words that I won't repeat for you.
All right, love, go ahead.
It's about a musician, but it's not a musical. Is Oh Brother, Where Art Thou a musical?
I never saw it, but judging from the trailer, I'd say it's a musical.
I would, again, disagree, but they had some bangers.
I think of singing and dancing. I think of people breaking out into song versus performances within the movie, like they go up on stage and sing for an audience. They're not in the bar and the bartender starts singing. It's like, oh, it's time for me to go up there and sing, and they play their guitar and sing like they're just playing to an audience. I wouldn't consider it a musical.
Okay, so that's one barrier for you. If it's fully diegetic, then it's not a musical.
I think so. The world of the movie, for whatever reason, you just have to accept that people randomly break out into song and dance.
This might be the first time we have a Coen Brothers joint on this podcast. John, how do you perceive their stuff?
Obviously, I'm of the age where Big Lebowski is the greatest movie ever made. First one was A Blood Simple. That one's excellent. True Grit. They put out some good stuff.
Since you mentioned True Grit, did you see the original?
Seen the original a million times. My father is a boomer white man.
You racist.
Ah.
Ragging on the white man, how dare you? Apologize to Andrew.
God.
To the kid younger than me, I refuse.
Become an active listener by joining the Screen Companion. Subscribe on YouTube, hit us up on X, and our Facebook group. Let us know your favorite episodes and what topics or films we should tackle next. Further support the host by buying his novel, Self-Recognition, a futuristic detective story, available on Amazon in print and digital formats. Now, back to the show. The Coen Brothers, what are their tropes? How do you know it's the Coens? And I haven't given them much thought because I haven't seen a ton of their movies. Overall, I don't think I'm a fan. I do like one here and there, such as Raising Arizona. Something I noticed in this movie, inside Llewyn Davis, their propensity to cast well-known people, it really bugs me, man. When I saw Justin Timberlake, there's no way he's not going to sing at some point.
Well, it's a folk singer movie.
Well, yeah, and then you got John Goodman. Is he like a regular guy in their movies?
Yes. He's in Big Lebowski. He's in Raising Arizona. He's in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? I could look up more, but I don't want to take up too much time.
Okay, he is a frequent collaborator. Even the guy that plays John Goodman's driver, I guess this was a few years after Tron Legacy, but I think his name is Garrett Hedlund. And even him, I'm like, they couldn't cast a more unknown actor in this? I recognize all these faces.
At least one of them was, you recognize them now.
Yeah.
With Coen stuff, it's like they love leaning into the fact that they're so well established that they can practically get anybody into their movie, like in the same way Scorsese could call somebody up and say, hey, you want to be in my movie? They're like, oh my god, it's you, sure, I will. Adam Driver, why did he need to be in this?
Was he that famous then? This was 11 years ago.
I think he was still kind of like a TV guy at the time, so...
Girls was popular.
Yeah, but like this is pre-Kylo Ren. It wasn't Adam Driver yet. He was just kind of like, oh, this guy.
He was just some guy. He wasn't hosting SNL or doing not remakes of Star Wars.
Oh, and we have done Drive on this show. It reunites Oscar Isaac and Carey Mulligan.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of her, Andrew, did you dig her character?
Not really. She definitely dumps all over Llewyn. He's not a nice guy. He's a jerk. He really is a jerk, but she gets mad at him for possibly getting her pregnant, but like he keeps saying it takes two to tango, and she just gets madder and madder at him for that. There is that like hypocrisy element, of course. It seemed like they'd known each other a while, and he was pissing everybody off. I was getting sick of him at some point. He has some low moments in this movie where you're just like, dude, man, you're such a dick. So you almost root against him, but then it's like, oh, okay, he has some humanity. Or he has a good singing voice. So, yeah, it's a weird one.
John, what do you think was the most embarrassing moment for Llewyn in the movie?
If I were him, it'd probably be being accosted because I brought home a cat that didn't have testicles. He seemed pretty upset about that.
What do you think the cat represented?
The cat's name was Ulysses, right?
Yeah.
The Odyssey, I guess. I got the impression that his dead partner was Neelix's kid.
Oh.
I don't know if they ever established that.
Wait, they didn't share the same last name, did they?
Probably not. That's the impression. I don't know why else he would be going to their house and why Lillian there would know all his parts to the song.
The way I read it was Neelix and his wife, they're part of the academic crowd, and Llewyn is a way for them to feel like they're part of the culture and they're hip.
I would agree with you on that. I think that is a bit of a trope. Air quotes, like older liberal academics trying to get in good with or just be part of the grassroots. But I can understand where John's coming from, thinking that, I think his name was Mitch, actually, thinking that Mitch was their kid. It makes sense because they seem like fans, and I don't know why. It's not like they ever made it big, and so, I don't know, maybe Mitch took some classes, I don't know, but it did seem like they had a little bit more of a connection to them than everyone else.
It feels like there's this framing device in the movie. It starts with a scene, and then it flashes back for most of the movie, and then in the final part, flashes forward to the scene that we saw at the beginning. Is that what happened?
I hope so. Otherwise, he's stuck in a real loop and he's in hell.
That's where it gets interesting. Literally, what I said is what happened. The subtext, I think, is what you're tapping into, is that this guy lives this crappy life and he's going to explode at some other person that gets up to an open mic because he's just so pissed at these amateurs and that he's playing at these crappy clubs with the friend from Doogie Howser, MD. Actually, that was the one guy I recognized who I was happy to see. It's like, I like that guy. He seems like a nice guy. I want him to get more work. That aspect of it, Andrew, did you ever find yourself worried about getting into a cycle with your music?
As a player, I guess a long time ago, I stopped getting better at one point. It was one of those things where it's like, okay, I either need to start really focusing on technique or get an instructor. I was honestly happy where I was, because I started playing guitar when I was like fresh out of high school. That was like a graduation gift to myself. I never was like, oh, I'm going to shred and I'm going to be like a great metal player. I was just doing it for fun. That's the thing. Like, yeah, I play, I am in a band, and we do covers and everything, and we make a couple bucks here and there, but I've always been in it for funsies. When I went to school to try to get into the music biz, I wanted to do it as a recording engineer or like a producer, not even as a player or a writer. I wanted to be on the technical side of it. It's crazy what a producer can do. They help and they facilitate. It's because sometimes artists, they get in their own asses. I think a good producer knows how to just work with them and make the best of it.
Any medium of art, artists get up their own asses a lot.
Yeah, but there's something about music in terms of commercial art. It's cool how collaborative it can be. I would say film's also definitely commercial art and television. Sometimes you need producers to rein in the creators.
Have you gotten a chance to produce music for anybody?
I did it at school. I helped produce a classmate's, he did like a 7-song album. I helped produce on that. There were 4 of us, it was a group project. We all had a good amount of input. The guy who wrote the music, they were all pretty fleshed out ideas. I just kind of had like certain nudges here and there. I'm hoping to produce one of my bandmates' albums next year, and I think that'll be a lot more hands-on. I've more like engineered someone's tracks, like set up the mics and hit play or record and maybe give them suggestions. And I've played on people's songs as like a session player.
So you know guitar, bass. Do you play drums too?
Yes.
Do you know any other instruments?
I can play the ukulele. I have a baritone ukulele and a Hawaiian.
Let's really go back for a second into your musical history to give some contrast to what I'm sure will be much more impressive. So I can remember in elementary school, we're playing the xylophone, really simple songs, and it's just a struggle for me. I can barely figure out what I'm doing. Playing music is such an uphill battle. It was only during the pandemic that I thought, I gotta conquer this. I gotta find a way to do better than I've done. I got an electronic keyboard and learned some simple songs. I learned some of my favorite 80s hits, hitting the keys for at least a couple minutes. That was a real triumph for me. Now, mind you, it was the pandemic, so I was literally spending 6 to 8 hours at a stretch replaying a song on YouTube, looking at tutorials, because that's like the only way I'm going to get this, is I got to just keep doing it and progress a couple seconds. Okay, now replay that. Okay, progress a little bit more. But you, since you are into music, how smoothly did you get into it?
I didn't want to play it when I was younger. My mom had me take piano lessons a few times when I was a kid, but it just didn't stick. I just didn't want to do it. But my mom said I had nice piano fingers, so that's why I had to do the lessons for a bit. I thought about doing it in high school, but I was like, nah. And then when I was graduating, I was like, you know what, I'm going to start. I have the summer and I'll have more free time. I really took to it. And when I first started playing, I got like a really cheap electric off of eBay for like $80. It was a piece of crap. I think what helped me learn like I did was because it was awful, so it was hard to play. So when I finally got like a good instrument, I was like, oh, it's not as hard as I thought. It's even easier than I thought it would be. Yeah, I did just take to it. The more I played, the more I realized like my secret weapon is I learn songs really quickly. Like I can learn the basics really quickly.
By reading it or hearing it?
Hearing it and then just kind of being able to play it when I look at how to play it online. In terms of technical skill though, like I'm not there. I barely practice anymore, and it's been like that for years just because like once I entered the workforce full time especially, I'm not as good as I used to be, especially because I play bass in bands now, so I'm not like picking up my guitar. I used to be not bad. I'll say that. I used to be not bad at all.
Are you one of those people that can get blissed out listening to music?
Yeah, if it's a really good song, it can be great.
How do you feel about vinyl?
I like it. From a scientific standpoint, it's not as good as digital, but there is something about it. Because when you play things off of a physical medium, you're also listening to whatever sound is on that thing. Like a tape sounds different than vinyl and stuff like that.
Oh, buddy, you don't have to tell me about analog.
Yeah, well, you know.
Laser discs.
Yeah.
Gonna make fun of your Laserdisc collection.
Once again, John, I had to head you off at the pass.
Ah!
John, just so I can get you into this conversation a moment.
Yay!
What was the first concert you went to?
Oh my God! It was my mom took me to the State Fair in upstate New York. It was a Reba McEntire concert.
Did you dig it?
It was okay.
Whoa, Andrew. What do we say about being a snob?
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I wasn't in charge of. I didn't get any choice in the matter.
No, it just all comes back to the boomer white parents. That's all it is.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Okay, how about one where you actively chose it?
I chose to go to probably a Death Clock concert out here when I first moved here. No, I forgot about Ozfest. I went to Ozfest in Buffalo, New York, early 2000s.
Cool. How about you, Andrew? Your first concert?
I saw Audio Slave at the Long Beach Arena. And this was like, oh God, I think it was like 2005. So their second album had just come out. And that's what they were touring. And
Forgive me, is that Chris Cornell?
yes. And their openers were a pre-Fame 30 Seconds to Mars and Seether.
Yeah, Seether's cool.
Yeah, I remember not really caring for 30 Seconds to Mars even then.
Good man, good man.
It was crazy because I remember they were playing. It's like, oh, they were okay, whatever. And then like 2 years later, they were like the big thing on K-Rock. And these guys sound familiar. And they're like, well, that was 30 Seconds to Mars. It was like one of the first times where I felt like, oh, dude, that's so cool. Like I knew these guys before they made it. It's not like I liked them, so it didn't really matter. But at least I got that satisfaction of knowing them before everyone else did.
My first concert was Green Day during their American Idiot tour.
Oh, wow.
Be a good show.
Man, you guys' concerts kicking my ass.
I think I was 14 at the time. You know, the perfect age for Green Day. And my friend, his sister, worked at a concert venue. So she got us in for free, and we were in balcony seating, maybe like 100 feet from the stage. Distinctly remembering if I had a tennis ball, I probably could have hit Billy Joe pretty easily. We were that close. It was awesome.
Why didn't you?
I didn't have a tennis ball.
That's fair. Nothing against him. Just would have been funny.
Green Day meet Green Ball.
Bah! I just saw them. They did Dookie and American Idiot in their entirety at AT&T Stadium downtown.
Have they gotten over the hill yet, John? What do you think?
They were still pretty good. The opening acts were like Rancid and Smashing Pumpkins.
It was great.
They were great. Rancid was really good, and so was Green Day, because they're both local. Yeah, after the show, we're just going to go to our houses.
I remember the opening act at that concert for Green Day was My Chemical Romance, which played very well to a crowd of Caucasian folks in New Hampshire.
You being the whitest of all.
Thank you. But I remember, what's that dude's name, the lead singer?
Gerard Way.
Yes. I think it might have been at the very beginning of their performance, or maybe in the middle, but I think at the beginning. It turned the energy down because he basically gave a little speech about how women shouldn't let dudes take sexual advantage of them. What are you doing? What is this?
Like, unprompted, like he was trying to get ahead of something.
Who knows? It was early in their fame. Like, I didn't recognize them, but I did after.
It's wild.
He's on a list now. Like,
Speaking of people saying stuff like that at concerts, a couple years ago I took my brother to go see Guar
oh, yeah.
in Santa Ana. That was a great show, but their opening act was this British metal band. I don't remember what their name was, but they had like a political edge to them. They were kind of like a scream metal group, really heavy stuff. Not the kind of metal that I'll listen to, but, you know, I'm there for Guar, so I'll, of course, listen to this act. Before one of the songs, the singer gets to the mic, he's like, Roy, so this next song, it's about a woman's right to choose, because these things are under attack, see, but it's their body, their choice, and that's why we did this song. And then it's just like, you know, and then like the band comes in, and he's like, and like those are the lyrics, and I thought that was just, there was something so wild about that. That was every song that they did. It was, and this song's about anti-fracking, and then it was.
Our second movie is Solo Sunny, which follows a young girl trying to get crowds to want her as a performer. Unfortunately, she's behind the Iron Curtain. East Germany in 1979 is a terribly square version of the music from Over the Wall. Ingrid's sunny summer goes from stage to stage, attached to a variety show of, I'm going to say, mediocre acts. It'll be another decade before democracy breaks through, but can she as a singer? John, what struck you most about the entertainment scene in this, and by extension, the German Democratic Republic at the dawn of the 80s?
I don't know, oddly sexist? I feel like every other guy was trying to rape Sonny.
Well, at least one tries.
For sure. Multiple times, which is a problem. It was surprisingly sexually free, considering the regime.
Sure, there is the occasional boob, but it's never sexy.
As a subject, not as just sexy.
Yeah.
Like,
Most cultures, even the oppressive ones, will let you do nudity if it's asexual or portrays sex really negatively, it feels like. Maybe I'm the only one that's seen a lot of communist movies, but there's a surprising amount of nudity. The 80s, 70s, I want to say even some 60s stuff I've seen from the Soviet Union, Hungary, Germany, Russia. For some reason, it does feel a little more out of place when you see nudity from those countries. What did you think of the vibe of the place, Andrew, in this movie?
Just very strict, unfun. You could tell that she wants to break free and be more unique. Like, I remember at one point in the movie, she was doing her makeup for a show, and like it didn't look crazy, and then some guy was like, you look like a whore. What? It wasn't wild makeup. Her outfits might get a little weird. Like the hairnet outfit, I kind of was like, huh, but you gotta have a costume as a performer, so it felt very sterile. There's that sense that she's not necessarily being held back just by the people, but that it's going to be harder for her to break out as herself in that community and society.
I really dug her individuality, even though she is very bratty for most of the movie, but she's got an arc from the beginning to the end. And I think in the movie, her character is supposed to be like 18, 19, so it makes sense why she's so immature. I get this real underdog vibe from her, because while she's trying to be an individual, trying to express herself, do her art, if you look at the architecture, the landscapes, oh, it's so drab and dull. It's so gray. There are interiors that have these garish colors, this really saturated purple and yellow and green, and there's really no rhyme or reason to it. It's just there among this gross wallpaper, and it just doesn't feel like a very creative environment, let alone country. Oh my God, how are you going to make it? Compare that to an American movie like Llewyn Davis trying to make a living at it. Some people are going to be receptive to this, more so than an Eastern Bloc country where, all that bad 70s looking hairstyles and clothes and facial hair. John, you're a facial hair connoisseur. What'd you think of the facial hair?
It's fucking atrocious.
Yeah.
That last guy Sonny was kind of with, the cab driver, he should have been smoking a pipe on a boat 100 years ago.
Did he have a Van Buren?
I think so, yeah.
Where it goes under your nose and then it flares out onto your cheeks, and it's just wild.
It was really weird. I hated it. I hated the haircut. It was bad. It upset me the most about this movie.
Okay, Ambrose Burnside. That's the historical figure it looks like.
Oh, okay.
Andrew, how would you describe the music they play in the variety show that Sonny's part of?
Pretty boring. It's eclectic in its instrumentation. I didn't dig the music too much in this movie, except when she introduced herself to the band at the end of the film. They were playing a jam. That was some funky stuff. The variety show group was kind of like, okay, whatever. The Tornadoes, right? Tornadoes, they were good players, but it was just kind of jazz fusion. She wanted to be like a pop singer. I just don't know if that's what pop sounded like at that point for them. That's some weird pop music, because pop's supposed to be like simple for the most part, and it was more complicated stuff. Wasn't my favorite music.
The GDR, like a lot of countries behind that curtain, I can't imagine their pop or any music or any artistic expression being incredible when you could get in trouble for any sort of controversy or statements against the status quo. Andrew, did you like her demo?
It was an interesting song, yeah.
A dream is coming true.
It was a pretty song.
When you will come our way, some sweet day.
What did you think of her lip syncing? Because that wasn't her singing it.
I mean, yeah, I could tell.
Even though this was released in 1980, and it's an East German flick, John, is there a particular scene that hit close to home for you? Something that was relatable?
Not really. Honestly.
Wow.
I don't know. I don't know what it's like to be a young woman where a bunch of creepy guys with shitty facial hair are trying to have sex with me constantly.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't the whole movie.
Kind of felt like it.
It was a good chunk, dude.
Yeah.
It was a recurring theme. Maybe it's because it's the particular point I'm at in my life where she gets fired from the show and she tries going back to her old job, which I don't know what exactly that job was. Was she part of the custodial staff? Was it textile or something? But anyway, she was punching in and out, that type of job. And that part of the movie felt depressing. especially if you've been a creative person or had a particular dream, and at that point in the movie, she's doubting it. She doesn't think she's going to get anywhere. What I picture, and hey, part of this is projecting, those moments where she's just staring at the mirror and just looks sad, and it's like, oh my god, this might be my life now. And that's when she decides to try to get with that taxi driver who's been going after her the whole movie. The one guy who hasn't tried to rape her, so that's a plus for him. Because it's just her giving into the mundane, which for any artist is poison to the soul.
Yeah, I get it, man.
Join us for part 2 next Tuesday when we wrap up this discussion with This is Spinal Tap. You've reached the end of this episode of The Screen Companion. Thank you for listening.